Floridians know the cost of hurricane destruction. Last season, we got lucky. But luck doesn't protect your home. Fortunately, Storm Smart has dependable custom hurricane protection products. Hurricane screens, accordion shutters, aluminum roll-down shutters, flood mitigation systems. Because protected beats lucky every time. Be safe, be smart, be Storm Smart.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by Storm Smart. Protect every opening of your home.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Thursday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live, and welcome. If you're watching on the spot, as always, appreciate it. If you're watching on streaming, nice to have you. If you're on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, love to have you here as well. Tonight we are going to dive into our long-range forecast. We're going to be talking about the 4th of July. You know, there's so many things going on across the Bay Area over the next several weeks. I definitely know there's some folks who are a little concerned about the fireworks threat. 250th birthday, there's going to be a ton of fireworks. I think we all know that. The question is going to be, how dry are we going to be? Is that going to add to some fire dangers? We're already having reports of a brush fire caused by lightning in Pasco County. It popped up this afternoon. And boy, that's one of the things that happens all the time. When we're in a drought and when we haven't really gotten the rain that we're hoping to get, or any areas that haven't had rain, we often can see thunderstorms pop and the lightning can travel away from the actual parent cloud in which it started. And, you know, we're obviously in a drought. These are the new drought numbers. They came in earlier on this morning. And yeah, we still know that we are in a drought, and we're going to continue to be in one for the foreseeable future, anywhere within, say, 50 miles of the coast. But what are we seeing with radar? And that is something that we started to see last night. Let's do some hellos, by the way. Eric, how you doing? From Pinellas Park. Karen Homosassa. Bridget, long time no chat. How you doing? Jane, good to see you. Marion Lillman. Alicia, as always. Seminoles in the house with Linda. Rita from Crystal River. Palm Harbor checking in with Rochelle. Anclote Village needing some rain, Wayne. Yeah, you know what? There were some folks who had some rain in that Anclote area, but most of it was just off to your south last night and early this morning. Deborah, how you doing? If you're watching on TV, you're wondering how we're having this conversation, because we are obviously streaming live on the socials as well, where you can comment away. More often than not, the conversations go in a million different directions. And sometimes I just, you know, it's like when your kids are doing something and you just don't want to look at it. I'm kind of that way with the chat sometimes, because the drama there is obviously can be very high, as it often can be in any kind of a chat room. Ryan in Seminole, nice to see you, Ryan. Kyla said it rained in South Sebring again. Oh, yeah. Highlands County is getting more than your fair share. How about sharing the wealth a little bit, right? You know, we've had some folks saying, you know, I'm here in Lake Wales, and I'm not going to really comment on the lack of rain. I'm just kind of sitting here quiet because we have had a ton of rain. Ren, good to see you as always. Stan from North Dale. Steve, wow, some of the OG folks in the house today. This whole chat thing started well over 20 years ago, before Facebook ever started doing Facebook Lives. And as we've gone through the years, we've developed and gone to broadcast. Matter of fact, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary on broadcast coming up July 1st. So we've got Sue, who has reverted to desperate times, call for desperate measures. She's doing a rain dance. So yeah, we did have some thunder and some lightning overnight along the coast. Let's go ahead and take this full, and we'll talk about what's happening now. I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to talk about road trip weather. We're going to talk about extreme heat. We're going to talk that the Euro continues to try to develop an interesting tropical system over the next week or so. So all of that is coming into play. But right now, there's a live look at radar. And I want to show you something, because while all the action has been inland of late, look what's happening now closer to the coast. Live right now from Gillette to Piney Point, west of Parrish. This is just popping up along the sea breeze boundary. And so is this, right over the Gandy. There's some rain developing. And look at this, a shower on the east side of the Howard Franklin showing up. Matter of fact, if we were to take a look at our Rivergate Tower cam, let's do that and see which way it's showing. Oh, yeah, look at that. Nice. So there is that. That's a beautiful shot there. You know what? I'm going to share that pic. Nah, I posted something else. Nah, I'm going to share it. Let's go ahead and go on to socials right now real quick and share this picture. It is a beautiful, beautiful shot there. All right, so let's just post this right now. Storm clouds brewing. All right, and share it to all of our Facebook pages, and there you go. See, we multitask. That is what is the expectation these days. We all go through it. We're all expected to multitask. So while I'm in the middle of a broadcast show, I'm also streaming on Facebook. All right, anyway, so there it is. So I had a feeling that was starting to build. So my point is, as we look at the rain, we had it last night along the coast. Matter of fact, watch this. I'll go the last 24 hours. So watch what we had overnight. So there it is. This is about midnight last night. I was driving home through this. That's around midnight. Look at the lightning. Look at the rain and the thunder that we had last night. That's 12:30 a.m. That's 1. So I'm sure there were a lot of folks who were hearing some thunder rumbling, and your pets weren't real happy about it. Maybe you weren't real happy about it. And then it died out. And then it ramped up a little bit again, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then everything started to move inland. But my point is, we are now seeing some, and also down Sarasota way right now, picking up some rain. South of Sarasota, over towards Siesta Key. So we're getting there, guys. Look, we are not going to be solving any kind of a drought anytime soon, but we are seeing a pattern change even as we speak. And over the last 24 hours, look at some of these rainfall totals. I can go ahead and show you some areas. There's Citrus County. South of Floral City, 3.5 inches of rain. East of Brooksville, nearly 3 inches of rain. Over Brooksville, about 1 inch of rain. South of Pine Island, this is in the last 24 hours. These are the rainfall totals. And then in Pasco County, from Shady Hills, Dade City, solid 2 to 3 inches of rain. Zephyr Hills, Newport Richey had some downpours overnight. Wesley Chapel, the WC, picking up some rain. And yeah, there's some spots, as always, with nothing. But this is kind of a sign of things to come. Look at Dover, Brandon, Seffner, nearly 3 inches of rain there. North of Thonotosassa, 2.5 inches of rain. Around the Landsbrook area, about 2.5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Oldsmore, I drove through it. There were flooded roads about midnight last night, down to Feather Sound, Safety Harbor. And there was rain in my house, so not a lot, not showing up on radar overall. But boy, the rich get richer. This is just a bunch of nonsense down here. Look at Highlands County. Look at these numbers in the last 24 hours. 6 inches of rain, 5 inches of rain around Sebring, 4 inches there. So they're obviously getting a lot of the rain. Arcadia also picking up some rain too. So point is, inland areas have obviously, what's going on there? Inland areas have obviously had much of the rain, but we are seeing improvements. Temperatures right now, upper 80s to around 90 where the rains have not fallen, upper 70s to low 80s where they have. And there are your feels like temperatures. Feels like temps up around 100 from Brooksville, Newport Richey, Clearwater, St. Pete, but areas inland in the upper 70s to the lower 80s. All right, outside highs today hit the lower 90s, which is pretty much where we're supposed to be this time of the year. I mean, nothing really unexpected about that. All right, great shot there, love it. 91 degrees at the airport, partly cloudy skies, dew point in the lower 70s. By the way, do you guys see that Rays game today? We'll talk about that in just a minute. 93, I want to take that graphic off of there because that is just gorgeous. Love this. Look at that. Look at that storm cloud brewing from Rivergate Tower. That is a beautiful thing. 93, the high today, normal 91. There's a look at the rain, again, popping up. But check out Futurecast, all right? So overnight, not much going on, but we start to see the showers popping again in the early morning hours along the coast. And the rest of the day, watch where the rains start to set up. See, look at that. That's 3 o'clock. That's in Pinellas. Look at the western sections of Hillsborough, Hernando, and Citrus and Pasco County, Manatee County. See where that's setting up? That is farther west than it has been. Now, granted, it's still going to push east, but some start to backbuild a little bit tomorrow evening. And that sets us up for Saturday because the winds on Saturday should start to shift out of a more easterly direction, and that's going to start to push the rain back toward the west. Look at the high temperatures early next week, dropping a little bit. Why would that be? There it is. Now, that is some good news right there. That is a look at what we're expecting Monday and Tuesday with an east to southeast flow setting up, and they're going to start pushing back. So we are going to see much better rain coverage Monday and Tuesday. This is not a washout. This is a typical Florida day where sunny in the morning, sunny in the afternoon, and then 3, 4 o'clock, it all opens up, and we see some really nice rain. Now, in the tropics, the Hurricane Center is saying no development over the next 7 days. But the European model is saying not so fast, my friends. And we'll talk about that in 90 seconds as Dennis Phillips Live continues. Okay, we are on a break. I have to go change. The monitor is blocking. I can't see what's going on up here. Stand by. All right, here we go. Got that. So I got to be able to see the commercials. Did you guys see, I should call it up, did you guys see the rain delay? I posted it on Facebook, and I'm hoping that I get the folks from the Dunedin Blue Jays on Monday. I hope to get them in studio because it was absolutely hysterical. And they used our base maps, which is very funny. Here, I'm going to show you this. I'll show it on TV. I don't have a picture of it, so on my computer. So I'm going to actually walk up to the camera and show the camera as well. All right, so we will be back coming up in 35 seconds. So how you guys doing? Lots of thunder, but no rain in Odessa. How you doing, Martin? Good to see you. Nothing in Apollo Beach. Kenneth, how you doing? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fireworks. Look, it's 250. There's going to be a lot of fireworks. Yeah, Bridget, it was 13-2 because they brought in Craig Kimbrell and gave up a 2-run homer. All right, so let's talk about, we're going to talk about that in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. The Rays victorious today, 13-2. So here's what happened. They had a no-hitter, a combined no-hitter. It was a bullpen day, so they used relievers throughout the game, and through 8 innings, they were up 13-0. They got 5 runs in the 8th inning because the Kansas City decided to throw out their water boy out to pitch. I say that in jest. Every now and again when a team is getting annihilated, they decide to save their bullpen and throw out a position player just to pitch. And that's what they did. And the guy's throwing like an eephus pitch. Well, Junior hit his 3rd home run of the game off the catwalk, just destroyed it. So they were up 13-0. They still had a no-hitter going on. They brought in Craig Kimbrell. Now, Craig Kimbrell used to be a closer extraordinaire. He's getting up there now. The Rays signed him again. He's had some injury issues. The guy's getting old. And they brought him in to finish off the no-hitter. Now, some people would say, why did you not bring in your closer? Because you wanted to get the no-hitter. Kevin Cash didn't care about whether or not they had a no-hitter. They wanted to save their bullpen's arm. They give the relievers, they give the closer a day off before they play again tomorrow. But, you kind of wanted the no-hitter. It's a thing. The Rays have only had one no-hitter in their history. It was Matt Garza. So they had a chance to do a combined no-hitter. But they ended up bringing in Kimbrel, and he gave up a 2-run homer, and they won 13-2. So win's a win, but it was a little bit of a bummer. I was kind of hoping to see that combined no-hitter. All right, one other thing's going on, and then we're going to talk about road trip weather, tropics, and whatever. So my son sent me a tweet that was from the Dunedin Blue Jays. And, matter of fact, I'm going to call up the tweet, and I'm going to show you this on the camera so you can see it. It was absolutely hysterical, all right? Let me call this up. I don't have it called up, so I'm going to show it to you on my phone. So, okay. So, look. All right. So this is the tweet from the Blue Jays. And it says, in 2025, the Dunedin Blue Jays endured 24 weather delays, 6 cancellations, 10 postponements. I guess I could have asked our director to zoom in on it, but whatever. If you can't beat the weather, wear it. They're introducing the rain delay jerseys, honoring the chaos of the Florida State League, debuting on July 18th. Here's the part about it. See that? That's our base map. That is our base map. And even on his jersey, that is our base map. So look at the banner. Look at the banner. That is our base map. And then on the jersey, look at the fonts. That is our logos and stuff. So I think it's hysterical. You know me, I love it. I'm a baseball guy. I love the Clearwater Threshers. I love the Dunedin Blue Jays. The Dunedin Blue Jays had a bobblehead of me several years back. It is out there. Somebody actually said they saw it at a thrift store recently. But I had a bobblehead. I love the Blue Jays. I love all minor league baseball. I think it's awesome. But it made me laugh that, that the graphic that they used was actually from one of our, they probably just took a screenshot of one of our maps. They're like, hey, this works. And I say it does. However, I will say something that's very funny. So my buddy Paul Delgado over at 13, he posted on the tweet, and he posted the meme like, I want one. So Paul's going to go walking around with a jersey with our base maps on it. Just saying. I don't know if that's what you want. Anyway, all right. So we were talking tropics, all right? So let's look at what's in. So I already showed you. Hurricane Center saying, nope, nothing going on the next 7 days, right? Well, the European is saying, not so fast, my friends. Now, this is an interesting setup. All right, first of all, the probability there is about maybe 15 to 20% of a tropical depression forming by July 3rd, next Friday. Okay? But, and I'll show you. So this is 48 hours. This is 72 hours. It's actually up to like 40% off the Carolina coastline. Cruise Mike might get something out of it. So what is going on here? Look at the motion. You actually have a system that's coming in from the northeast to the southwest. What in the world is going on there, you ask? All right. Well, I will tell you. I'm wearing a hoodie in this heat, Kurt, because this studio is very cold. And now, even more than that, I'm wearing a hoodie because that's my look, man. It's my look. I got a hoodie. I'm a hoodie guy. So it could have been 1,000 degrees in here. I'd still be wearing my hoodie. I digress. So let's get back to what we're talking about. Let's do a double box on this. All right. So what's happening is the Euro is stalling a front over the southeastern U.S., okay? And what happens in the fall with stalled out fronts in the Gulf? Quite often, weak areas of low pressure develop, right? That's where we can see a tropical system develop from a stalled out front. Happens a lot. Doesn't really happen very often late June, early July. But the Euro is saying it's going to. And you can even see it. This is actually as of Monday, right? And then this is as of Tuesday. And that blue, light blue, is about a 30% chance of a depression forming along that stalled front. There's Wednesday. There's Thursday. What's happening is that low is retrograding back to the southwest. It's being pushed to the southwest from a building ridge northeast of that low center. Now, this is all fantasy land right now because that does not exist right this second. But if it were to form, that ridge builds in, pushes that tropical depression system, if you will, somewhere near Florida. Now, if that were to happen, that would give us a lot of rain. At this point in time, that is not really the forecast in any way, shape, or form. I was going to call up the one map, and I will. I'll do it during the break, but because we got to hit a break. But the bottom line is the Hurricane Center is saying nope. The Euro is saying maybe. So here's what we'll do. We got to hit a break. I will call up a couple other maps. We'll show it to you. And then we'll talk about the travel forecast next week for 4th of July weekend coming up as Dennis Phillips Live continues. Okay, we are in a break. Let's call up the QPF map. WBZ QPF. So, you know, I'll show you. I'll show you guys since we're not back on TV yet. I mean, it does kind of show kind of a stalled front right there, right? And more importantly, look at us. Look at us. I'm excited. Look at us there. That is some solid rain potential. I had not looked at that earlier. Wish I could zoom in on that. I can't. But I will show that coming up. All right. So we're going to talk about that. So how you guys doing? You guys doing okay? So I'm doing a road trip next week. It is going to be super hot next week across the eastern. I'm going to show you that map as well. Let's see where I have all my maps. All right, there's the tropical map. I already showed that. There's the temperature map. Well, let's look at that. I'll call that one up as well. All right, we are back in. I still have one more break, right? 3, 2. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. We've got to fly through this stuff. As always, I get a little talkative and I don't get a chance to get to everything. So this is one more view. This is the Euro over the next 5 days, the Euro AI, rather, over the next 15 days. The Euro AI doesn't show a lot, but it's got maybe one little strand this way and then coming back over there, but not too much, all right? So let's get rid of that map. All right, let's go to the next one. We already showed this. Nothing going on the next 7 days. Here is the forecast for the next couple of weeks. Not a lot going on, a lot of dry air. So this would be coming out of left field a little bit. Let's look at the rainfall. So we talked about if that front stalls out and low pressure develops along it. Well, there's your stalled out front right there, right around there. Could be a little low pressure right there. But look at this. Look at the rain in our area. And it isn't just inland. It's still inland, but it's stretching all the way back toward the coast. And that is for next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Something else. Look at the heat wave across the country next week. All right? Let me show you these numbers. Those are highs. That dark, obviously, there's 90s all the way up to Minnesota. Okay, here is next Wednesday. 100 in Richmond, 100 in Philly, 101 in Baltimore. That is some, here, let's use East Coast. Mid-Atlantic. All right, there you go. Look at some of these numbers in the Mid-Atlantic. That's next Wednesday. 100 degrees all the way into North Carolina. Here's next Thursday. 105 in Virginia and North Carolina, all the way down to South Carolina. The Euro is all in on a massive heat wave coming up next week. Here's July 3rd, 106, 105, huge heat wave. And then the 4th of July, maybe not quite as hot. Let's look at the southeast. All right, let's go back. Zoop. All right, let's go back to Wednesday. Wednesday afternoon, there's your southeast. Look at your numbers, read them and weep. All right, here's Thursday afternoon. 90s in Florida, 100 in Georgia, and Atlanta 100. 100 in the Carolinas, 104. Cruise Mike is melting away. All right, let's look at Friday, July 3rd, 104. Look at South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. And lastly, on the 4th of July, right around 100, maybe a little bit of a break in that. Speaking of break, we got to hit our last one. And we'll be back in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Right? Did I have a break? I did. Good. Hey, that was a pretty good transition, though, right? All right. Is that hockey? I mean, is that soccer game tied at 0 at the half? Probably. Yep, it's tied at 0 at half. There's a lot of massive soccer fans. I just can't get into it. I've watched it. Maybe I'm just used to more, I don't know. It's just me. I mean, I'm just used to more action. I think if it played in a much, like the size of a hockey rink, then it would be action everywhere. But I just feel like there's a lot of running around. I mean, I appreciate the skill, obviously, and the durability, but I don't know. I'm watching and I'm rooting for the USA, but it's definitely, maybe I'm just Americanized and I just haven't been able to appreciate it, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. The USA plays tonight at 10, Debbie says. All right, well, go USA. Go USA. All right, so one more, what was I going to show? There's one more thing I wanted to show. Oh, yeah, our rain chances. Duh. All right, we back? 10 seconds. All right. We are back in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. Let's take one look at our long-range rain chances, and I think you're going to like what you see here. So, this is tomorrow morning, all right? Still pretty quiet. It's tomorrow afternoon. I want you to look at the wind barbs, because while tomorrow, we look at the rain even by tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Look how far west it goes. All right, what about Saturday? 8 a.m. dry. But look at 8 p.m. I'll say it again. Look how far west the rain goes, all the way to the coast. Look at Sunday. 8 p.m., little less moisture. Same locations, though. Southeast wind. Look at those wind barbs. Look at those wind barbs down here. That's a southeast wind, guys, right there. That is what we want. And look at Monday. 8 o'clock, still pushing west, up even until 2 a.m. See that? And Tuesday, same thing. And Wednesday, same thing. Thursday, then it starts to push inland, I think. So we have got ourselves a solid 4, 5, maybe even 6 days of an onshore flow. I'm sorry, of a southeasterly flow that's going to help us with our rain chances. All right, so there you go. We covered tropics. We covered massive heat wave next week. Hopefully some rain to make it a little easier for the firework dangers with the fire dangers. We've still got that brush fire burning in Pasco County. We'll have more at 11 o'clock tonight. As always, thanks for watching On the Spot. Have a great night, and we'll see you on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. We will not be on the spot tomorrow because there is WNBA. Eric says, concern for next Friday, the 3rd, for outdoor work in central Pinellas County. Well, let's look. Let's look for you. I think we looked at the temperatures, right? Where are they? No, not there, not there, not there, not there. There they are. All right. So on the 3rd in Pinellas, right there, about 92. Honestly, it's not going to be much different for us because, see, here's something to remember. Yes, they do have, big heat wave expected across much of the country, but those are areas that are landlocked, and we are surrounded by water. So whether it's on the West Coast or whether it's on the East Coast, we are surrounded by water. So we are going to have a moderation of those extreme temperatures. It's not going to get as hot for us. It just can't. When we're surrounded by water, the water temperature with dew points up, there's no way, it cannot happen. Now, if the drier air were to come in, we might even get up to a 99 or 100. And 97, 98 usually is the max. But we're not going to get those kind of numbers that they're going to have up north. All right, Jean Marie. Anybody, Cruise Mike, I just talked about you. Jean Marie, what you need to do, if anybody wants rule number 7 gear, and I might even post something for it as well, go to my Facebook page. Well, you're on my Facebook page, all right? Go to the top of my Facebook page, and you will see a link to all of our rule number 7 merch where the proceeds benefit local charities, all right? But all you got to do is go to, here, I'll even show you. And then I'm going to get some dinner. But it'll take you to a link that says, it'll take you to a link from here, and it's rule number 7, 4th wall. And there is the site. And it's got all the merch. It's got all the colors, all the types, everything. And again, proceeds benefit local charities. So there's the link site. There's the link. But my point is, if you Google Rule 7, 4th wall, you'll get it as well. But you can just go to the top of my page. All right? All right, guys, I'm going to get some dinner. And Go USA playing tonight at 10 o'clock. I will be back tomorrow night. We are not on the spot tomorrow because of the WNBA. So I will be back on the spot Monday. And tomorrow morning, I am doing an event at Feeding Tampa Bay at 8 a.m. The heck was I thinking? The United Way is doing a panel discussion kind of thing, and that's awesome. I was kind of told it's going to be meteorologists from all over the state. It turns out it's one other meteorologist from Jacksonville. 8 a.m. So I'll be there. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. No, but you know who's going to be the moderator? Shay Ryan. Shay Ryan is going to be our moderators. That's kind of cool. Saturday, I'm doing a meet and greet. Saturday, I'm doing a meet and greet at Lucan's in Dunedin from 3 to 5. So, event tomorrow at Feeding Tampa Bay for United Way at 8 a.m. Meet and greet, though, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Lucan's on Saturday. They have a batch of rule number 7 out there with the cans, and we're autographing the cans and whatnot, so I'll be there. So I will see you tomorrow night on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. You guys have a great night.